In the last year, a quiet but persistent question has been growing among the most dedicated fans of Little People, Big World. It's a question whispered in comment sections and discussed in fan forums. Have you noticed it too? A change in Amy Roloff. The sparkle in her eye seems a little dimmer. The powerhouse of energy we've known for decades seems tired, frail even. We've all tried to brush it off to say she's just getting older, but what if it's something more? Today, we have to share a story that we've been investigating for weeks. A story so sensitive the family is guarding it with everything they have. We have been contacted by a source, a longtime friend of Amy's who is deeply terrified for her well-being. This source has confirmed our worst fears. Amy Roloff has been battling a secret and serious health scare, a health crisis that came to a terrifying head just a few weeks ago. And the cause, according to doctors' warnings, is not a disease or an illness, but a person. If you have ever cared about Amy and are concerned for her health and happiness, please take 1 second to hit that like button. Let's send a wave of support her way and let YouTube know that her story needs to be heard. And if you believe in getting to the truth, make sure you are subscribed to LPBW Update and have clicked that notification bell. What you are about to hear is a heartbreaking story of how a dream life can become a waking nightmare. Let's be clear. This is not about a specific diagnosed disease. This is about the devastating physical toll of extreme and prolonged stress. Our source, Amy's friend, described her life with Chris over the past year as living in a constant, low-grade state of anxiety. Think about the pressure cooker she has been living in, a reality that we have been reporting on for months. There is the alleged financial stress from Chris's failed business dealings, a constant worry about money that gnaws at her security. There is the emotional stress of his alleged controlling behavior, the feeling of walking on eggshells in her own home. And perhaps most painfully, there is the stress of being caught in the middle of a cold war between her new husband and her own children, who no longer trust him. Her friend told us, and I'm quoting directly, she doesn't sleep well. She's lost weight. She has this permanent look of worry on her face that she tries to cover up with a smile for the cameras. But we, her friends, we see it. We see that she's wasting away from the inside out. The stress is literally eating her alive. This all came to a terrifying climax one Tuesday afternoon. Amy was home alone. Our source says that she stood up from the kitchen table and was hit by a sudden violent wave of dizziness. The room started to spin. Her heart began to pound in her chest, and she felt a crushing pressure, as if someone was sitting on her. She crumpled to the floor, gasping for breath, terrified that she was having a heart attack. She managed to get to her phone and call not 911. She was too scared of the publicity, but her doctor's office. The doctor, hearing her symptoms, ordered her to come in immediately. After a series of urgent tests, an EKG, blood work, blood pressure, monitoring, the doctor sat her down. Her heart was thankfully okay, but the diagnosis was just as chilling. She was suffering from a severe acute stress reaction. Her body was physically shutting down. The doctor gave her a stark life or death warning. He said, "Amy, your body is screaming at you to stop. This isn't something medication alone can fix. You must identify and eliminate the primary sources of extreme stress in your life, or you are on a path to a catastrophic health event, a stroke, or a major heart attack. This is your final wake-up call." A final wake-up call. The doctor had essentially given her a prescription. To save your own life, you must remove the stress. But how do you do that when the primary source of stress is the man you share a home with, the man you married? When Chris got home that night, Amy, still shaken, told him everything. The collapse, the terrifying symptoms, the doctor's grim warning. She needed support. She needed compassion. She needed her husband to understand the severity of the situation. What she got instead, according to her friend, was the ultimate betrayal. Chris didn't rush to her side. He didn't hold her. He got defensive. He allegedly told her she was being overly dramatic and letting things get to her. He saw the doctor's diagnosis not as a medical crisis for his wife, but as an accusation against him. He turned her moment of vulnerability into a fight about himself. At that moment, Amy realized she was truly alone in this battle. Her husband was not her ally. He was the very thing her doctor was warning her about, but the story doesn't end there. Because when Amy, heartbroken and terrified, finally broke down and confessed the whole story to her children, their reaction was the complete opposite of Chris's. It was a mixture of terror, love, and white-hot rage directed squarely at one person. In part 2 of this heartbreaking report, we will reveal the children's explosive reaction to Amy's health scare. We will detail the emergency plan Zach and Jeremy are now reportedly putting into place to rescue their mother. And we will expose the ultimatum the kids have given Amy, a choice so impossible it will force her to decide between her health and her husband, once and for all. Stay tuned to LPBW Update. A life is on the line, and a family is about to fight back. Welcome back to LPBW Update. In part 1, we revealed the devastating secret Amy Roloff has been hiding, a serious health collapse brought on by extreme stress. We told you how she crumpled to the floor, terrified she was having a heart attack, only for her doctor to issue a life or death warning. Eliminate the major stressors in your life, or face a catastrophic health event. We left off at the most heartbreaking moment, when Amy, vulnerable and terrified, confided in her husband Chris, only to be met not with compassion, but with defensiveness and accusations. She was alone. But she wouldn't be for long, because when her children found out, their reaction was swift, furious, and it set in motion a final, desperate plan to save their mother's life. Feeling completely isolated after Chris's cold reaction, Amy did what any mother would do. She turned to her children. Our source, Amy's longtime friend, tells us she first called Zach. She reportedly downplayed the severity at first, but Zach, knowing his mother, could hear the tremor in her voice. He pressed her for the truth, and finally she confessed everything. The collapse, the doctor's grim prognosis, and Chris's selfish, dismissive response. Zach's reaction was not calm. It was an explosion of protective fury. He immediately hung up with his mother and called an emergency sibling meeting. Zach, Jeremy, and reportedly even Molly and Jacob were on a conference call within the hour. The news of their mother's health crisis, coupled with the revelation of Chris's behavior, was the final straw. For months, they had watched their mother fade. Now they had a doctor's confirmation that her marriage was, quite literally, killing her. They knew they had to act. This was no longer about family drama or who was right or wrong. This was about their mother's life. And so they formulated what our source calls the rescue mission. The plan, as laid out by our source, is bold and direct. Step 1 was already in motion, presenting a united front. They would no longer deal with Chris or the situation individually. From now on, they would act as one, a wall of support for their mother and a unified force against Chris. Step 2 is a direct intervention. Zach and Jeremy, as the heads of the family, are reportedly planning to go to Amy's house together, not to confront Chris, but to talk to their mother, to sit her down, look her in the eye, and lay out the terrifying reality of her situation. They plan to tell her, say, "Mom, we love you too much to stand by and watch you disappear. We will not let him be the reason we lose you." But it's step 3 that is the most dramatic. It is the final, impossible ultimatum they feel they must give her for her own good. The children have allegedly secured a temporary place for Amy to stay, a quiet, furnished rental home away from everything, a safe haven where she can rest, recuperate, and heal, free from the constant stress of her life with Chris. They have paid for the first few months themselves. Their ultimatum is this: Mom, we need you to leave. Just for a little while. Come with us to this safe place. Give yourself a chance to breathe, to get healthy again. We will take care of everything, but you have to make a choice. You have to choose your health. You have to choose life. This isn't a request for a divorce. It's a plea for a separation, a therapeutic separation designed to physically remove her from the environment that is destroying her health. They are forcing her to follow the doctor's orders in the most direct way possible by removing the source of the stress, Chris and the life they've built together. Imagine the impossible choice they have placed on Amy. To agree is to admit her marriage is a failure and a danger to her health. It means walking out on the man she chose and a public admission that everything the fans see on TV is a lie. But to refuse is to defy her children's desperate, loving plea. It means telling them she is willing to risk her own life to stay in a toxic situation. It's a choice between her husband and her children, between her marriage and her own mortality. As of this report, the intervention has not yet taken place, but it is imminent. The children are ready, the safe house is waiting, and Amy Roloff is about to face the most important decision of her entire life. The happy couple we see on television is a facade, hiding a tragedy in the making. Behind the smiles, one person is fighting for their health, and another is allegedly the cause of its decline. The family is no longer willing to stand by and watch. They are taking action, launching a desperate mission to save their matriarch before it's too late. Will Amy choose herself? Will she choose her health and her children? Or will the pressure to maintain the image and her bond with Chris be too strong, leading her to ignore the final, desperate warning from her own body and her own family? The answer will determine the future of the Roloff family and the life of the woman at its very center. Thank you for joining LPBW Update. This is a developing story, and we will continue to follow it closely. Our thoughts and prayers are with Amy for her health and well-being. Make sure you are subscribed, as the events of the coming weeks will be critical.